Hi folks, this is Mark Bennett. You may or may not have seen my two existing YouTube videos, the first Dyson and the first Dysons, which featured this one and the one to my far right. What you may or may not also know is that I've got a big collection of Dysons, which I've just recently done a deal to get rid of them. So before they go, I thought I'd put something together to show you something of the evolution of the Dyson vacuum cleaner from start to finish, from this to this really, and also I show you some special editions and some other interesting features. So here we go. First in my chronological lineup are the Cyclone and G-Force, which are pretty much covered in my other YouTube videos. These date from the early 80s and predate the proper Dyson vacuum cleaners, which we'll go on to shortly. Okay, so here we have the DA001 and the very early fixed sole plate Dyson DC01. The two machines are quite similar, but there are some key differences. The DC01 has the word technology on the cleaning head and also on the handle for the Cyclone, whereas the earlier machine doesn't. The DA001 is made out of a slightly nicer, sparklier silver plastic, whereas the DC01 is more matte. The mains plugs are different, this one being the early type and this being the later type, although this was further succeeded by this type, which is found on later machines as well. The tool caddy on the DC01 has the facility for an adapter for the hose, which the earlier machine doesn't. The serial numbers are prefixed by 300A for the DA001 and 600A for the DC01. Both machines are fixed sole plate, as we can see here, and later DC01s have the flexible movable sole plate. Okay, so here we have two more DC01s, both special editions. The left hand machine in the distinctive red, purple and yellow is the De Stijl, which is named after an early 20th century Dutch art movement and means the style. The second one is the DC01 Antarctica Solo limited edition, which has got Ranulph Fiennes' signature printed on the cleaning head, and this one, the proceeds went to breast cancer breakthrough charity. Okay, so this is the only cylinder Dyson in my collection, a very rare one at that. It's a DC02 Recyclone. The Recyclone was Dyson's attempt at being green, made in very limited numbers, maybe 300 or 400. The body of it was made out of recycled plastic, which was pigmented with this beautiful green speckly colour. It was supplied with instructions, I believe, on recycled paper and was shipped in a canvas bag. The main body, the tools and the handle were green, and the rest of it was made out of new bits, but very, very rare. Okay, so next in the line, and quite unusual, is the Dyson DC03. This one being quite a rare version, in that it is a DC03 clear. This is the first mass-produced electrical item to be made primarily out of clear plastic, and it predates the early Apple iMacs. So you can see a lot of the workings, and even the flex and handle are clear. Okay, so moving on to the DC04, the successor to the DC01, we have four unusual ones. This is the limited edition, which was the meningitis charity one, where again the profits were given to the Meningitis Foundation. You can see the microscope logo there on the cleaning head. There are also second run ones which don't have the same graphics. The next one is the DC04 Constant Max. This was Dyson's pretty much only attempt at a commercial cleaner, which had a filter change indicator, which is peculiar to it, on the top, and it also had a plug, a bit like a lawnmower, to replace the flex if it should become damaged. This one is a DC04 Zorbster, which sprinkled Zorb powder from the hopper and had a special clutch to shake it onto the carpet. Real Heath Robinson machine, not particularly effective as a carpet cleaner, but quite unusual. So moving on in the evolution, we see here from left the DC07, the DC14 and the DC27, each being an incremental improvement over the previous, with the first ball to the right. Focusing on the DC07, this is again an interesting one, being the click version, where the proceeds went to the Cancer and Leukemia in Children charity, and it bore that distinctive pink and lilac colour scheme. Here we have the two cleaning heads for the DC14 and the DC27. There's a fairly major redesign here, the 14 sharing a head with the DC04 and DC07. The DC27 had a clear window to see the brush bar and a different clutch arrangement, a bit like the DC25 ball, but it was the only model that actually used this arrangement. Right, so here we have the first three versions of the Dyson ball. On the left is the DC15, in the centre the DC25, and to the right the DC41. You can see the evolution and the cleaning up from the earlier version, which is massively over-engineered. Here is a comparison of the cleaning heads between the later DC27 and the DC25, which I referred to previously. Concentrating on the DC25, this is the drawing special edition, which was called the Blueprint for the US market, and was styled after engineers' drawings, hence the white and purple colour scheme with all the engineers' notes printed on it. These are quite unusual and interesting looking. Moving on to my DC41, this is unusual in as much as it's a prototype. It has a non-finalised changeover valve, and it has some UK spec bits, a US phone number, and an unusual pink cyclone. Shouldn't really have escaped the factory. So this kind of brings us up to date. There are obviously further derivatives of this DC41, including the latest kinetics, but that's pretty much where Dyson has got to with conventional uprights. Okay, so here we are, summer 2017. The big line of Dysons has disappeared that was behind me earlier in the video. I sold them all as a job lot to Manchester Vax. I believe some of them they may have retained, which will form part of their collection, which I think will be on display in their shop, so well worth a visit. Although I haven't been myself or had the chance to visit them yet. So I'm left with, yeah, pretty much a couple of Dysons and this stick one, which is the V6 Absolute. These I think are the future of Dyson vacuum cleaners, purely for the kind of lightness and manoeuvrability and cordlessness of them. However, the battery life isn't great, and that is something that needs to be worked on and further improved, I think. But all in all, I hope I've provided a final informative Dyson video that does the job. Be the last one that I put on YouTube because I'm all out of Dysons, but I do collect Apple iPhones, so you might see me back on the channel with my collection of those. Thanks very much. Bye now.